Monday. How are you doing this beautiful Monday evening? My name is Sarah Otieno. We are live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking, and we're also keeping Jesus on the airwaves. Use the WhatsApp number 0786-316-316 and talk to us. Also through the SMS line 20316 on Facebook and Twitter at Family Radio 316. Well, today we'll be talking about our leaders. Who is a good leader? What are some of the things that we are supposed to be considering when looking for a good leader? We'll be talking about that much later. But for now, we look at some of the stories and we get it started right now. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has asked parents with children in other classes to start preparing them for reopening in 1 or even 2 weeks' time. This comes as school reopened today across the country, allowing the grade 4, class 8 and form 4 learners to resume learning for their second term. While leading the inspection of schools reopening in Nairobi Primary and Olympic Primary in the capital, the CS advised parents to get ready their other children for learning. The professor also urged head teachers not to send any children home for lack of school fees.
For those children who may be pregnant, as we deal with the criminals, may I assure them that they have nothing to fear. They should come back to school. Teachers should be very, very empathic with them, giving them all the assistance, and when the time comes, they should be given the opportunity to go and give birth, and after weaning, they shall come back and continue with learning. I have said that as we comply with the government requirements for those few who still have to pay fees, primary school is free, so there's nothing like fees. Day secondary schools are free. But for the boarding schools, where boarding charges are charged, may I once again plead with our principals and head teachers to ensure that no child is sent home on account of school fees, both in the private and the public sector. Because people think I keep talking about public. Even the private schools. Finally, for the private schools, where some people have tried to equate reopening with those who had online classes, we want to make it very clear that all children will start from where they left.
Well, even as the country has started the first reopening of schools, a section of schools in Western Kenya are flooded with challenges, with some learning institutions being submerged in flooding water. The area education officials say that they are forced to relocate the education centers to higher ground.
Kumekuwa na changamoto kidogo sana kuhusiana na mambo ya maji upande wa kusini, ambapo maji yamezunguka shule fulani. Itabidi tutoe watoto tupeleke shule zingine. Kwa mfano shule ya Buongo, shule ya msingi ya Buongo imezungukwa na maji na watoto hawawezi wakaenda pale, na hata vyoo vyao vimeharibiwa. Kwa hivyo hakuna jinsi ambavyo watoto wanaweza wakaingia pale. Kwa hivyo tumewahamisha Buongo Primary School, tumeihamisha kwenda Mubwayo Primary School kwa sababu shule yao imeathirika na maji. Shule nyingine ambayo imeathirika na maji ni Musoma Primary School, ambayo tumeihamisha wanafunzi wake waende wasomee Rugunga Primary School kwa muda kabla hali haijarekebishwa. Tena kuna shule ya Igigo ambayo pia iliathirika na maji, yakaharibu miundo msingi kama vyoo. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi kuweka watoto mahali ambapo hakuna vyoo. So tumewahamisha, wataenda kusomea Budalangi Primary School.
Well, some of these challenges are not only experienced in Western Kenya, but also in Baringo. We've seen such cases, and in areas where the lakes are flooding. and this water is actually going all the way to the lands and even the schools. The same problem is being experienced. And talking of challenges, the Kenya Private School Association has received reports that about 170 schools will not be able to financially manage a reopening of their schools. The Private School Association is asking the Ministry of Education to create centers for affected pupils who are expected to sit for their exam and have had their schools closed. Many private schools across the country are expected to report back to schools before Friday this week.
As we speak, they are going on because we want to be able to achieve the 1.5 meter distance, which we are in a position to. In the normal learning times, our classes have a capacity of 35 learners, a carrying capacity of 35 learners. But in the new normal, we want to achieve 20 learners per class, which is possible.
Well, on the other hand, some parents have also sent their children back to school despite fears that some of the schools are still struggling to meet the COVID-19 protocols that were set by the Ministry of Health. A spot check within Nairobi County has revealed that parents are on the last-minute rush to ensure that learners are ferried safely back to school, and this amid the fears due to the alleged claiming of most schools having failed to meet the COVID-19 protocols.
We cannot say that probably a certain time is the best time to open schools, to open the economy. But we have to be hopeful that with this first opening of schools, that the schools administration, the Minister of Education will have ample time to implement health protocols in schools, although it's a big challenge.
We were just got by abrupt. The time which we were given, it was not enough to prepare, but we are all good. We are set for school because the closing has been long since March up to this time. Even though they had said we count 2020 as a lost year, that's the only part which brought challenge.
We are very happy as the school, as the parents, because we are turning back to school. We wanted so much, at least this pandemic to get over, at least for our kids to move on with their life.
Ni tricky but itabidi uzoe. Iko poa juu sasa tutamaliza this year, at least mwaka yote hatujapoteza vitu mingi. At least tutaka chap na form 1 wenye wako mbele wenye wako nyumbani.
Well, that is from one of the students who resumed schooling today, and we must agree and accept that there is some mixed reaction. So I want to hear from you as a guardian, as a parent, or even as a listener who is concerned about the health of our children. Do you think our children will be safe in school? Do you think our children will be safe in school? That is the question that we are asking today. 0786 316 316. That is on WhatsApp. SMS line 20316. Talk to us and send in your opinion, what you feel about this discussion. Do you think our children will be safe in schools? Remember, most of them have gone to school today, and we have until Friday, and this is according to some of the private schools, for them to report back to school. So talk to us as we move on with the show. Now, Kenya today has recorded 73 new cases of COVID-19, and that brings the total number of infections to 41,619. Regrettably, 11 people have succumbed to the disease over the same period, and right now we have 777 people that have died due to COVID-19. And this was put out clearly in a statement by the Health CS Mutahi Kagwe, who announced that 2,100 samples have been tested, and the total number of cumulative tests that have been done so far are 593,199. At the same time, we had 97 patients that were discharged from various hospitals and also from the home-based care, now bringing the total number of recoveries to 31,097. Well, if you have noted, today we have lost 11 more patients to COVID-19, and this actually tells us that we need to be more vigilant. We need to actually take precaution and ensure that we look into the protocols that were given to us by the Ministry of Health. In other news, the Deputy President William Ruto has asked police not to be selective in application of the law. Dr. Ruto said it was the responsibility of the police to serve all Kenyans equally, irrespective of their ethnic, political, or their social status in the society. The DP said it was unfortunate that police were disrupting some meetings while allowing others to go on uninterrupted.
Na tuheshimiane, na sisi wote ni sawa chini ya katiba ya Kenya. Let us not turn Kenya into the animal farm, where there are some that are more equal than others. The law must apply equally across Kenya, irrespective of who is leaning towards which or what direction. All of us are Kenyans. The law must apply equally, not selectively. Kama tunaweza kuongea mambo ya prime minister na deputy prime minister, na tukuongea mambo ya bodaboda, iko makosa gani? Kwa sababu prime minister ni ya watu wakubwa, na tumekuwa tukiongea hiyo maneno siku mingi. Mbona tusibadilishe safari hii, viongozi wangoje kidogo, tuongee mambo ya mwananchi mdogo, huyu wa bodaboda, huyo wa matatu, ule makanga, ule wa mama mboga, mambo yao tuyatatue. Kwa sababu tukitatua matatizo ya wananchi hawa wadogo, mamilioni, wale wakubwa na wadosi wanaweza kujipanga kwa sababu wako na uwezo.
Yes, I can.
All right, I was just talking to the listeners and viewers, and from what we have heard from the DP, he said that right leadership is what we need as a country, and he called on the leaders to actually step back and let the wananchi be wananchis. So talking of leadership, we want to hear from you, Andrew, and this is Andrew, if you've not gotten his name. Andrew Kamoche from Emerging Leaders Foundation, the communication associate. So Andrew, in your own definition, who is a leader?
A leader is someone who spots a gap or sees a place that needs improvement and works towards it, rallies teams, rallies funds, rallies anything around him or her to improve the situation, to improve the space, to fill the gap, and make sure that whatever that they are working towards, the vision that they have for, whether it's in the corporate sector, whether it's in politics, whether doesn't matter, whatever position you're holding,
all right,
works towards making sure that the society is at a much better place than you found it.
I like what you're saying, working towards making sure that the society is at a much better place from where you found it. I like that.
Yeah.
And you pointed out very clearly that it's in different aspects, whether corporate, whether political, it could even be in this studio or even in your company. That is why we have managers and ranks, as I can put it. So all these things considered, how can we tell that this person is a good leader and this one is not? So in short, I'm asking for their characteristics. Please help us define these two people, a good and a bad leader.
A good leader has integrity. A good leader has integrity. In everything that they do, it's clear that what they are standing for. A good leader is a great communicator. They speak out their plans clearly in an understandable way, because if you have a team, and again, you have to be articulate enough for the team to understand what you want, what is expected of the organization, of the seat that you're holding. A good leader is not afraid to make mistakes. You shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes. You should be bold enough, because we are human,
Yeah.
And once in a while we'll always make mistakes. Once in a while we'll always sleep kidogo. It's not always 100%. And a good leader is super supportive to the team. You're not someone who is you just delegate things to the team and you leave them. So the next time you're coming, you're just coming to watch how have they done it. You should not be, that is being a boss. A leader works with the team. A leader unites and works with the team towards achieving the vision that you have, because you are the one with the vision. You're the one who presented the manifesto to the people. And so you have your team. Yeah, so work with your team towards achieving that manifesto. Not going back and saying, I have the CDF committee which has failed in ABC. What were you doing? No, you are a failure as well, because they have failed your manifesto, they have failed your dream,
Yeah.
they have killed your vision. Yeah, those are just a few traits. Yeah, but integrity, very crucial for me. Communication really matters a lot for a leader. And you have to be courageous. You have to be bold enough, because at times you'll be forced to make decisions that are critical. And if you're not courageous, if you don't stand strong, if you're not bold enough, then your team, your leadership, it's shaky. Yeah, there'll be a lot of loopholes, a lot of gaps will be existing.
Yeah, you talked about being a boss and being a leader, and I remember there's this one, I don't know whether to call it an animation or a meme that has been going around, differentiating between a boss and a leader. Do you mind talking to us a little bit about that, the difference? Andrew, can you get me?
Yes, I can. A boss commands, a leader works with the team, a leader asks the team. A boss tells you, hey, Sarah, I want you to do ABC. But a leader will come, I have ABC. Can we work on it together? What can we do to make sure that we get to point C? Yeah. A boss says, do it, just go and do it. But a leader says, let's do this. Let us go together. Let us walk the path together. A boss takes all the credit for the team. Yeah, maybe you have a producer and the show is doing well, and he thinks that the show is doing well and I'm the one behind it.
Yes.
But a leader shares the credit. This is the team. This is teamwork. Yeah. So
I like that. I like that. And that now this is where, as employees, you should start gauging, is he a leader or is he a boss, your manager, Well, when talking of identifying a good boss or a good leader, and all these points considered, is it right to say that someone who is tough, who is, let's say, outspoken, who is always commanding, where can we gauge them? Where can we place them? As a good leader or as a bad leader? Because I know this is one of the challenges that most people are facing. My boss is always telling me to do 1, 2, 3. My boss always follows up with the emails. So where can we categorize this kind of people that we say are tough?
Tough depends. I think there are two ways of looking at it. There's being tough because you want to achieve whatever you have in place. There's being tough because you just want to press your team to do it. And so if you're being tough, not only on the team, but again you're saying depends with how you address it. Again, because there's being tough to command the team that we have to do this. I think that's wrong for me. That's being too bossy. But there's being tough because you haven't achieved on what you had in mind, and you're being tough on the team to wake up, let us do this, let us work towards this. You're trying to bring them right on foot so that you can progress together. But in most situations in this country, being tough, bad leadership. Those are just people who are commanding you to do things.
Yeah. And talking of leaderships, let's dive into politics kidogo. And over the last couple of days, we've been seeing our political leaders doing 1, 2, 3 on the wrong side of the law, and even flaunting the COVID-19 rules. And we're talking about that because it is what we have at hand right now, because of the social gatherings, just holding gatherings, and people, because of that, are flaunting these rules. All these things considered, and what has been happening, especially on our political platforms, how can you gauge our political leaders as an individual, as Andrew?
We have politicians. We don't have political leaders. We have people who don't walk the talk. They just talk. They don't do what they say. Now they'll give you guidelines. Observe social distance, have a mask all the time. But then once they are on the streets, they are busy saying hi to Wananchi who have no mask without doing anything. take masks to them. Yeah? Yeah, we just have politicians. We don't have political leaders. We have people who make a lot of noise but do nothing, in my opinion.
Well, that's very unfortunate, Andrew, but you have just laid it out there, and I like that I like your honesty, because we have some people who would say this, but they don't know how to air it out, and I like your honesty on that. And talking of that, it all comes back to us. We are the ones who put them in that position, right? So maybe you can talk to us about these factors that we are supposed to consider, or what to look out for when we are selecting our leaders in all aspects.
In all aspects, don't vote for someone because of, based on how popular they are, based on, is a big name, and no, don't vote for someone based on how popular they are. Don't vote for people based on who has endorsed them, or which party they are on, or the token that they'll come give you, because it's happening. It's happening, and it's about to even get worse. Tokens will be distributed, because this is the period where now every politician remembers that, hey, you need a less, or you need sugar,
you need some
half
unga.
a kg. Yes, don't vote for someone who is giving you such tokens, because again they'll go get that seat again, and then for 3-4 years mess it up. Tough economic situations, high taxes, and all that. But you'll be crying at home. You won't have the free unga, you won't have the free less, or you won't have the free sugar, and the whatever tokens that they give people, or that people get from them.
Okay.
Yeah, just vote for people based on what are they presenting to you, how have they been before, wherever they have been serving. How is their track record? That is, yeah. Again, at times the track record lies, because you might be a good CEO, but then you get into political leadership and everything goes haywire. Everything is a mess. Just basically don't vote for someone based on popularity, based on I was endorsed by person A. And some of them actually don't even campaign, because they were endorsed by someone and they just chill. They are sure they'll get the votes. Based on tribal lines as well, because that's another issue with us, or based on how wealthy, based on their social status,
size of the pocket.
Yes.
All right, but again, let's just be blunt here, Andrew. Look at our economic status, and here we are telling people that don't vote for that someone who brings you a packet of unga, some sugar, some less, or maybe for my mother. Do you think sometimes bad leadership is also blamed on our economic status? Because that person who lives below the poverty line, and you bring them 2,000 Kenya shillings, they will easily be influenced to vote for that person who provides for them, despite the fact that he or she is a bad leader. Can we blame it on the economic status of our country?
Yeah, most people take advantage of the economic situation in the nation, and they use it to their maximum advantage. Like, it works for them, because they'll just see, this area is lacking in A. Let me go distribute A. But just take it. If you don't have a meal that day, just take it.
Yes.
But when you go vote, don't vote based on that unga. Go vote for someone who will change the economic situation and improve, so that at least you will be able to afford it on your own. They won't have to wait for 3-4 years complaining, and then in 4 years again you get the unga, and then back to basics. It's a routine. Yeah.
Wow, I like that. But now, when they say that spilt milk, we cannot cry over spilt milk. And to some extent, we have bad leaders in our community. We must accept that. So how do we deal with bad leadership and bad leaders? How do we deal with that?
Is it to some extent or to a large extent?
Depending on what you want us to talk about. But yes, we have bad leaders.
There's only one way. I'm assuming we're talking about political leadership.
Yes.
Just vote them out. Vote them out and hold them accountable for whatever issues they had in governance. If they stole your funds, if they mismanaged your funds, if they didn't they can't account for any pennies, just hold them accountable and let them have them imprisoned. Yeah, but the first solution is don't listen to them. You can have their tokens, yeah, but vote them out.
Yeah.
That is the first step of recovery as a nation.
And am I right to say that the power lies within us, the common mwananchi? Am I right to say that?
The Constitution states that the sovereign power of the people. Yeah.
Well.
So the power lies with the mwananchi.
You know what I have gotten from you today and from this discussion basically is the difference between a leader and a boss, and the power is in my hands. I don't know what you have learned from our discussion today, but you can also share with us. In the meantime, thank you so much, Andrew, for joining us today. We really appreciate this information.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me. It was great, yeah.
All right, that has been Andrew Kamoche, the Communications Associate from Emerging Leaders Foundation. Remember, the power lies in your hands to vote in the right leaders, to vote in someone who is capable of taking care of you, and of course, just being a leader, not a boss. On the question of today, Vincent Mulinge is saying, praise the Lord, Sarah. The country is not yet safe. How will our kids be? We are praying for the best with our fingers crossed. Vincent Mulinge from Thika, thank you for that response. I have Joseph from Kiserian, and you are saying, I can't approve or disapprove of the possibility that our children will be safe at school. I believe if all measures are observed, it will presumably expected that learning will go on smoothly. Let us pray and do as required by the MOH. And then on the discussion that we are having with Mr. Andrew, you're saying a boss sees the car a boss see the car components and how much it costs. A leader values the experience of all the passengers and the thrill of the journey. Thank you for that. Martin Dungu is saying, when thieves come to your home, do you expect your father to let you out if he knew the gang is around? No. He will only let you out when everything is under control. So students are safe, since the government is just joking with our minds. Well, our children shall be safe. Checking on the mood of the country and politicians, corona is no more. This is Patrick Ominde. Asante sana for tuning in. I also see someone here, Esi Kimenyi, is saying, will the government really fund the private sector? If not, we are expecting some chaos. Thank you so much for that feedback. I really appreciate. Now, do you know all the assets that your family owns? All of them. Do you know them? Well, why am I saying this? The Unclaimed Financial Asset Authority, that is the UFAA, has begun moving over 800 million units of unclaimed shares that remained uncollected by owners and beneficiaries to the Unclaimed Asset Trust Central Depository account. And this is according to the latest financial report, and the value of unclaimed assets held by the state stands at 13.3 billion Kenya shillings at the end of September 2020, and this is up from 10 billion that was recorded in 2018. 13.3 billion Kenya shillings by September this year, and this is up from 10 billion that was recorded in 2018. Now, most of the assets now in the custody of the UFAA have been surrendered by public listing firms, insurance companies, banks, pension schemes, legal firms, telecom operators, and SACCOs, amongst others. Now, the UFAA has also taken custody of 16.7 billion in cash, 1,595 safe deposit boxes, and assorted units trust. This is a lot of money that is unclaimed. No one has come out to say that this is my money, and this is why it's called the Unclaimed Financial Asset, totaling to about 13.3 billion shillings. That's a lot of money. So I'll ask you again, do you know all the assets that your family owns? Can you account for all of them? And just in case something happens, and we are talking about the passing on of a family member, can you really claim all the assets that your family owns? Think about that and do something about it. In other news, the Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho has announced that the Mashujaa Day celebration will be an invites-only affair. He was speaking today in Kisii, where he led a team of the Ministry of Interior in inspecting the venue ahead of the Mashujaa Day celebration on Wednesday, October 20th.
Kids and scouts, police, we may miss a bit of that as we observe the protocol, but we'll ensure that we give the celebrations here the dignity that Mashujaa Day and the Mashujaas of this country deserve. And therefore, for this year, we'll have a number of venues. We'll have those people who will be in the stadium, and we'll have others who will sit in specified spaces around the Kisii town. And we will erect major screens there so that whatever is happening here, they are also witnessing. So here in the stadium, we will be inviting people so that admission is restricted to just the invitation, just because of the problem we are having in COVID. And therefore, we'll ask the county government to be as generous so that we cover as wide spectrum of people as possible. As usual, celebrations will start at around 10. We'll expect people to be seated here by 8 a.m. and the stadium doors will open at around 6, so that the security screening and all that is required to be done before the celebration happens in good time. We know the weather here changes at around 3, so we expect to have cleared everything here by 1 p.m.
Well, health officials across the world are seeing new cases of the coronavirus, including France, where hospitalizations are reaching new records, and countries across Europe are reporting a resurgence of the COVID-19 cases after successfully slowing outbreaks early this year. The vast majority of the countries are declaring more cases each day now more than what they were recording in the first cases early this year.
COVID's second wave has hit France and French hospitals hardest, with above 26,000 new infections on Saturday, more even than in the spring. In big cities, including Paris, bars are completely shut, though restaurants are still open, at least for now. But even local measures, like a curfew in Berlin for the first time in 70 years, or a widespread shutdown of Scottish pubs, is devastating for business and is bound to bring even more unemployment.
Most of my friends are angry about the whole thing. I mean, they feel as if they've been penalised.
India reported fewer coronavirus infections last week than Europe, but it is still battling a colossal outbreak. It's the only country besides the U.S. to have had more than 7 million cases, and currently has the highest daily death rate on the planet. At the other extreme is North Korea. Well, that is if you believe its leader, Kim Jong-un. He staged a military extravaganza on Saturday and announced the country had had not one single case of COVID. Then he offered his condolences to the rest of the world.
Well, that is good news for North Korea. 0 cases of COVID-19. Anyway, Hurricane Delta slammed U.S., destroying buildings through Louisiana, leaving homes destroyed. And this happened yesterday. Hurricane Laura roared a show with a staggering of 241 kilometers per hour speed of wind. That's a high speed. Then Hurricane Delta followed with less wind but a ferocious downpour. The two back-to-back hurricanes in the space of 6 weeks have left this pocket of southern Louisiana blanketed with tarpaulins, debris, and also flooded streets.
Tonight, the remnants of Hurricane Delta wreaking havoc in the south after slamming into Louisiana as a Category 2 hurricane. At least 7 reported tornadoes across the southeast. First responders forming a human chain, rescuing people from chest-high floodwater in North Georgia. Heavy rain swamping parts of I-75. This massive train derailing, causing a hazmat situation and evacuations outside of Atlanta. Water pouring into homes, residents wading through the debris. In Louisiana, 300,000 customers still without power tonight. residents picking up the pieces from Delta's devastation. 100-mile-per-hour winds toppling trees, ripping roofs off of homes, and knocking down power lines.
The north side of town was completely dark. There was nothing.
Delta hitting Louisiana just 6 weeks after Hurricane Laura, with two storms making landfall just 12 miles apart. The White family living out of their camper.
The power was out for 27 days actually for us. I know there's still people without power from the first one.
Lake Charles residents know they have a long road to recovery.
I feel very hopeless. I don't know if I'm going to be able to live through the put back together, only to have it destroyed again.
Well, it was the finals of the NBA yesterday, and we had the Lakers beating Miami Heat with LeBron James adding another chapter to his epic career, scoring 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists as he captured his fourth NBA title with a third team, as well as earning the NBA Final Most Valuable Player honors for the fourth time.
I was going to put this franchise back in a position where it belongs. Her late great father did it for so many years, and she just, took it on after that. And for me to be a part of such a historical franchise is it's an unbelievable feeling, not only for myself, but for my teammates, for the organization, for the coaches, for the trainers, everybody that's here. We just want our respect. Rob wants his respect. Coach Vogel wants his respect. Our organization want their respect. Laker Nation want their respect. It's easy. It's easy. I said it in the presser before. We have no ego. We want the best.
In your hand.
Appreciate it.
And your fourth NBA title. Let's bring up Anthony.
Well, for those that support Lakers, it was worth the while, staying up late or even waking up early to catch the game. And it's good news for the lovers of this game. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to This Is The Day. I will see you tomorrow. My name is Sarah Otieno. Have yourself a lovely night.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.